So this was a video I was gonna make yesterday, but I ended up not getting time to make it, so I'm gonna make this video now. But at the UFC 297 post-fight uh, interview with Dana White, he said some really weird comments about Arnold Allen versus Movsar Evloev that I totally disagree with. And not only do I disagree with heavily, but I think it's a bit hypocritical what Dana White has to say. So without further ado, uh, yeah, these are different headphones. I was gonna get like the the little volume thing like I'm a fast food worker, but I realized these are different headphones. But anyway, without further ado, I'm gonna play this clip.
He another win. He kind of pushed back on the label the fans gave him as a decision make. Like he only wins decisions. He doesn't think that's a fair assessment because he's winning dominantly. What did you make of his performance and his possibility of fighting for the title soon?
So what did he say? He's bummed out because people call him
not bummed, but he says fans constantly call him. Like they criticize him because he's only winning decisions and not going out there and melting people.
Yeah. I mean, what's his win streak like? He's on.
I think he's like 18, 19.
Yeah, 18 or 19, and yeah, that place sucked the wind right out of the fucking. That fight sucked the wind right out of the arena tonight. So.
Is he thinking of the wrong fight? But I'll get to that in a second. I don't understand this narrative he's going with here. I think it's a bit of a weird one.
It might bum him out, but he's got to deal with it. Yeah, that was the least fun fight anybody's ever seen. So, I think he doesn't have much to complain about. You know who lost that fight? The fans. Yeah, so, yeah, he doesn't have much to bitch about on that one.
Now, this is where I think it's very ironic. Because if we look at the card, that was probably the best fight on the main card outside of the main event. Like, let's look at it this way. Arnold Allen versus Movsar Evloev. Okay. Chris Curtis versus Marc-Andre Barrios. Arguably, yeah, that might be better. That might be a better fight. It was back and forth. Interesting fight. First round, very pedestrian, but second and third round, very good. So maybe that fight's better. But Neil Magny versus Mike Malott. Outside of Neil Magny getting like a comeback finish, not really an entertaining fight. It was just sort of Mike Malott just laying on top of him, kicking out his leg. Not very entertaining there. And then, this is the big one. This is the stinker of all stinkers, which is what annoys me about Dana White here. Is Raquel Pennington versus Mayra Bueno Silva. That fight absolutely sucked. It was horrible. It wasn't a good fight. It literally killed my buzz for the whole card. I literally just went, oh, for fuck's sake, man. This fight sucked. It was not good. It was a horrible fight. It wasn't an entertaining fight. Raquel Pennington's one of the most boring fighters. How are you going to say that Arnold Allen versus Movsar Evloev is one of the least fun fights you've ever seen and not even mention Raquel Pennington versus Mayra Bueno Silva? That fight literally killed the whole momentum of the card. We had got Arnold Allen versus Movsar Evloev, which wasn't a boring fight. It was a good fight. I enjoyed that fight. Chris Curtis versus Marc-Andre Barrios, not a bad fight. Neil Magny versus Mike Malott, that sort of did derail it a bit, but I guess Neil Magny getting a comeback KO sort of like brought up the hype again, and then we had Raquel Pennington versus Mayra Bueno Silva, which, yeah, like I said, killed the entire momentum of the card. Then let's look at like the prelims. I guess most of the fights were pretty decent, but Arnold Allen versus Movsar Evloev really wasn't that bad. I don't understand why Dana White's saying this. What was bad about it? Movsar got some takedowns, but the only real bad thing about that fight was Arnold Allen sort of got fucked over with them illegal knees, where Movsar Evloev's hands were up when he got knees. So they should have been legal in my opinion. But maybe I think I read somewhere there's like some weird rule in Canada when it comes to grounded knees, which grounded knees should be legal anyway. It's a stupid rule, makes no sense. You're trying to knock your opponent out. Why can you not knee them in the head when they're down? It would make a lot of sense. But yeah, I don't know. What was boring about the fight? That fight was good. First round, very competitive. Second round, Movsar Evloev almost gets a KO on Arnold Allen. In the third round, I still haven't got to see the whole round, but it was looking really entertaining from what I've seen, and what I heard is Arnold Allen beat the brakes off him in the third round. So it wasn't like a boring fight by any means. I don't understand. What does Dana White have against Movsar Evloev and Arnold Allen? Does he just generally hate them or something? Because if you're going to talk about boring fights and not mention Raquel Pennington versus Mayra Bueno Silva, you have some inherent bias there. I don't know what it is. Maybe he doesn't want to push like a Movsar Evloev getting a next title shot just in case Ilia Topuria beats Volk, because maybe he wants to do Ilia Topuria versus Sean O'Malley. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I don't know. I doubt that is the case. I'm just looking at what reasons because Dana White is a promoter at the end of the day. He wouldn't be just shitting on Movsar Evloev for no reason. There's gonna be a actual reason why, he's trying to push this narrative. Maybe he wants Ortega to get a title shot if he beats Yair or something, knowing how the UFC love fucking Brian Ortega, but I don't know, I just find this really weird. Like, we had close submission attempts by Arnold Allen on Movsar. There was a few instances, we had every Movsar Evloev fight, there's always a moment where he almost gets subbed. Arnold Allen almost subbed him, he landed some big shots on him. Like, I don't know, I find it really weird. Like, Dana White, Dana White's view of what a good fight is and what's a bad fight, I feel like it's a bit, it's like inherently biased. I feel like he never really shits on women's fights. Like, what did he have to say about Rose Namajunas versus Carla Esparza? I'm sure he shat on that, because you cannot, but Carla Esparza, let's see, what did he have to say about that fight? Okay, I can't find anything of what Dana said about that, but it seems like he goes really easy on the women fighters when they have boring fights. I don't know why that is, but like, Raquel Pennington was, even Ariel Helwani, who is like a big fucking gimp when it comes to like that sort of stuff, like, geez Louise, why are you hating on the women? Stop hating on the women fighters. They're not boring, you're annoying, they're not boring, they're fun. They're cool. Like, even he said, yeah, this is not good. Like, he said, this is pretty bad. What did he say? Let me find the exact quote that Ariel Helwani said. This is not great. That's literally, like, Ariel Helwani saying this is pretty crazy, because Ariel Helwani, notorious virtual signaling dick rider, and even he said that the fight sucked. Like, you gotta realize, if he's saying it sucked, like, it fucking sucks, because he will go out of his way to say, that was a good fight, that was a banger fight, that was a good fight, you guys are sexist pigs. Like, Ariel Helwani will come out and say something like that, but even he knows that fight sucked. But Dana White didn't even shit on the fight at all. He didn't say anything negative from what I remembered. I watched the post-fight scrum with him. He had nothing bad to say about that, but he totally shat on Arnold Allen versus Movsar Evloev. So, I don't know. I don't know where Dana White gets off getting pissed off about this fight of all fights. The only thing that annoyed a lot of people was the decision. It seemed like a majority of people thought Allen won that fight. If we are going off damage, I mean, it would make sense that Allen did beat Movsar Evloev, but, it ended up going to Movsar for some reason. I've seen a lot of people saying that Mark Goddard should get deported from the UK, which is so funny. I did sort of actually think that fight should have gone to Arnold Allen. It seems like a lot of the media members did go to Evloev, but like, if you're going off damage, it should have been an Arnold Allen win probably. I don't know, it's very weird. But yeah, Dana White's just been weird lately. I don't understand this. Now, he did redeem himself because he did shit on that reporter who was trying to you have your fighters on a leash. It's like, I can't make people believe what the fuck they want. Like, I did respect him for that. So this was just a weird moment. Outside of that, Dana was cooking on his press conference. But yeah, this was just totally a weird moment. But anyway, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this. What are your thoughts on Dana White just shitting on Movsar Evloev versus Arnold Allen? I think it's very unwarranted in my opinion. I know Movsar Evloev isn't a finisher or anything, but he does have good fights. His fights aren't totally boring. I just think he's a bit overrated. He's not like this Islam Makhachev at featherweight that people make him out to be. He's not this Habib at featherweight that people make him out to be, but he is good. I can think he's overrated and not think he's bad. Like, overrated doesn't mean that I think he's bad, but I don't know, Dana White's Dana White's making me feel like a fucking Movsar Evloev dick rider at this point. And I've gone on many times to say I think Movsar Evloev is one of the most overrated fighters in the UFC, but Dana White's making me feel like I'm a fucking Movsar Evloev super fan at this point. But yeah, anyway, let me know what you guys think about Dana White coming out and saying this. Do you find it a bit weird that of all the fights on the card, he shat on this one and not Raquel Pennington versus Mayra Bueno Silva, which was one of the worst title fights, especially in the last year? It was definitely one of the worst ones. But yeah, just weird from Dana White. Hopefully he comes out and somebody asks him about it, like, why did you find that fight so boring? Like, he said it sucked the air out of the building. And he said the only person who lost that fight were the fans. Like, it wasn't that fucking bad. But I don't know, maybe after rewatch it, maybe it really was just god awful and Dana White's just right. But yeah, I still think it's weird that he didn't shit on May Rubino Silva but versus Raquel Pennington. But I don't know, that's just Dana. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers. Goodbye.